15 billion miles from Earth, something touched Voyager 1. No camera caught it. No warning came first. One instrument picked up a rising whistle, a sound that shouldn't exist in the emptiness between stars. Weeks later, Voyager started transmitting garbage data through a computer engineers had written off as dead years earlier. Two mysteries, one 47-year-old spacecraft, farther away than any human-made object has ever traveled. By the end, we'll separate what NASA actually confirmed from what the internet made up. Voyager 1 launched in September 1977 to fly past Jupiter and Saturn. It carried a golden record, sounds and images of Earth, meant for whoever might one day find it. Nobody expected the spacecraft itself to still be running in 2026. A single command takes almost a full day to reach it, and the reply almost another. There's no repair crew, no spare parts, and its nuclear power source loses output every day, forcing engineers to shut down instruments just to keep it alive. Its cameras went dark in 1990, switched off once its flybys were finished. It didn't photograph anything moving out there. It can't. What's left are instruments that measure magnetic fields and waves in charged particles. Nothing more. That distinction matters because the viral version of this story claims Voyager filmed something drifting past. NASA never said that. What Voyager actually caught was invisible and big enough to cross billions of miles of empty space. The sun throws nearly 1 million tons of charged particles outward every second, inflating a bubble around the solar system. That's the heliosphere, its outer edge where the sun's influence gives way to plasma between the stars. In October 2012, Voyager's readings shifted. Particles from inside the bubble dropped. Cosmic rays from deep space spiked. It looked like Voyager had crossed into interstellar space. But one confirming signal was missing. The magnetic field didn't rotate the way researchers expected at the true boundary. So, some scientists weren't ready to call it. To settle the debate, they needed a plasma density reading. Interstellar plasma is far denser than the material inside the heliosphere. But Voyager's own plasma instrument had stopped working decades earlier. In March 2012, the sun produced a powerful eruption, launching an expanding pressure front through the solar wind. Not a solid object, closer to a tsunami traveling through plasma, a shockwave rippling outward through charged particles and magnetic fields. For roughly 13 months, that disturbance crossed the solar system and continued outward, chasing a spacecraft it would take over a year to catch. On April 9, 2013, it finally reached Voyager. The plasma wave subsystem detected electrons around it oscillating at roughly 2.6 kilohertz. Converted into audio, the measurement sounded like a thin, eerie whistle rising out of static. It wasn't sound moving through an atmosphere. There is no atmosphere out there. It was electrical vibration moving through plasma. The signal indicated an electron density of about 0.08 electrons per cubic centimeter. By earthly standards, that's almost nothing, but far denser than the plasma inside the outer heliosphere, and close to what scientists expected between the stars. That number confirmed it. Voyager had crossed the heliopause on August 25, 2012, becoming the first human-made object in history to enter interstellar space. The strange something that reached it months later wasn't a planet or anything alive, just the sun's own energy reaching out across billions of miles. In data collected from 2017 through early 2020, researchers identified a persistent, low-level plasma wave emission. Unlike the whistles triggered by solar shocks, this signal never really stopped. Its slowly changing frequency let researchers track how plasma density shifted as Voyager traveled farther. Almost like a continuous hum underneath occasional bursts of thunder. Interstellar space, it turned out, was not a perfectly silent void. It had structure, changing densities, and the fingerprints of stellar activity from millions of miles away. But while scientists listened to the space outside Voyager, the machine itself developed a genuine mystery of its own. In 2022, Voyager's attitude control system began returning garbled information about its own condition, while somehow still keeping its antenna locked precisely on Earth. The situation practically invites a dramatic theory. Maybe something out there in the interstellar dark had reached inside the spacecraft and changed it. But there's no evidence connecting the plasma wave detections with the telemetry problem. The two happened years apart, and NASA reported no alien transmission, no outside interference, no takeover of any kind. The spacecraft hadn't become conscious. It was simply routing its status reports through the wrong onboard computer, one that had stopped working years earlier, corrupting the data before it reached Earth. Engineers sent a single command across 15 billion miles. Voyager abandoned the failed computer and within 2 days began speaking clearly again. Then, in late 2023, a separate, more serious failure stopped Voyager from returning usable data at all. Engineers traced it to a failed memory chip, with no empty block large enough to hold the affected software in one piece. The team split it across different locations and rewrote decades-old code so the pieces could work together again. Every test required a round trip of nearly 2 days. By June 2024, all 4 working instruments were returning usable data again. Voyager hadn't reconfigured itself, and nothing out there had touched it. Human engineers, from billions of miles away, had rebuilt part of its memory, one careful command at a time. The sensational version of this story would end with alien machines, hidden messages, or Voyager quietly joining some kind of interstellar network. The verified story ends somewhere far more meaningful. A spacecraft, with less computing power than a modern household appliance, detected a disturbance that crossed billions of miles of empty space and proved humanity had finally left the protective bubble of our own star. Then, decades later, when Voyager's own memory began to fail, engineers repaired software written before many of them were even born. One command at a time, across nearly a full light day of distance. Voyager didn't catch something moving out there. It caught the sun's own influence, still traveling outward long after the spacecraft crossed beyond its bubble. Proof that interstellar space isn't empty. It's active, structured, and still carries traces of events millions of miles away. So, which fascinates you more? Discovering an actual physical object out there, or discovering that the darkness itself can move? Subscribe for more true stories from beyond our solar system.